Good morning, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters here on YouTube. Those who follow Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on Facebook, and those who follow my Sherwood TikToks under Abe CS 895, I believe, or 865, one of the two. How's everybody doing this evening? How you doing, cousin Jesse?
I'm doing good, man. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Just sitting here waiting to go live. I
Oh,
actually
we are
slept
live.
today.
You haven't slept again?
I actually slept today, man. I got home from church, man. Quedé bien
Hmm.
dormido. Hi, prima Ivy. How you doing?
There you go. We got Sister Ivy in the house. I know we go deep, man, in those the talks, the La Brujas and Brujas and all that, man. There's always like negative residue, that you remember of certain things that happened, the way they happened. And sometimes, so when you go to sleep, it gives you like flashbacks in your dreams, of events that you experienced, which is kind of like spiritual test. That's why you remember, when you experience something and you dealt with it, you remember what you had to, how strong you had to be. For me, it was when I was a kid, where there's wicked people that do exist. They were coming at me, and I was able to overcome them by understanding uh, what was good in people and what was evil in people. That's one thing that I've been able to distinguish just about all my life. You know,
Welcome, Deborah.
how you
Welcome to the
doing, Sister
show.
Deborah?
No,
So let's
man,
let's
I
go ahead,
agree
cousin.
with you on that. I agree with you on that, primo, because ever since I was a little kid, uh, I've always been able to tell what people are about. Just by looking at them, I know what they're about, and I know if they have good intentions or bad intentions because I can pick it up in the air, man. And my brother Joe, he's never liked the fact that I do that, and I told him, hey, man, it's not my fault that if I meet somebody and if I automatically don't like them, it's because there's something wrong with them, man. If I don't like you the first time I meet you, I'm never gonna like you no many times you come around. It's just that something won't let me like you. That's why I have a very limited amount of people that I call friends, man. I mainly just hang out with family.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the same way, man. Like only few that I consider friends, and they're the ones that they've proven to me that they were my friends. Like some of them were in the military, that they proved themselves to me that they were worthy of not just being called a friend but a brother because they backed me up, you know, certain situations that they would do anything for me, or likewise I would do anything for them. Which is those are my combat brothers, just especially the ones that fought with me in the front lines. And of course was you, cousin. Well, you backing us up back in the day when we went through in Remville, Texas. That you had La Esquina, you had her back.
Still do,
You
cousin. Still
we never
do.
we never we're never gonna forget that. It's just out of all the people that I consider friends, it's kind of like only certain few that remain friends. Remember I used to hang around with Mario. He passed away already, and he stopped being my friend. Rob Sala stopped being my friend.
Yeah, I
Um,
know, man, because I saw Rob in at the Super 8 in Raymondville, and I called him by his name, and he looked me dead in my face and said he didn't know me. Hi, Cornrow Fishing. Hi, Kyle Whitehead.
Rob Salas.
Yeah, he looked
He
me right in my
changed.
face and told me he didn't know me, man. You know what
What
I
was he
told him
doing?
when he said that? He was going into the Super 8, man, to go buy something, and you know what I told him? Hey, man, all these years that I've known you, you've had that damn nopal on your forehead. It's still there. What do you mean you don't know me? You still look the same, you damn Indian looking. Te todo Nepal en la frente, nunca han cambiado, and he acts like he ain't gonna know somebody, man.
Yeah, they totally like forgot about me, man. After I joined the military, I was in the military. But the only, I mean, that I consider friends when I was growing up, and it's kind of like they started talking trash about me and stuff. After I came back from combat and stuff like that. But that's okay, man. I still consider them my friends because they were there for me. At a time in my life when I was going through a lot. But Mario already passed away. We never got to hang out together anymore. But everybody lives their own life afterwards. You go your
Yeah,
different
yeah.
different directions.
Yeah,
So
no, man.
Rob,
Go ahead,
like
man.
Rob, his one of his nephews was in the army with me. I was in charge of him. I had his back numerous times. That Rob was talking bad about me, and his own nephew said, "F my uncle." You're the one that got my back over here. He don't got my back. He said, I'm not gonna let him talk bad about you when you've had my back over here while I've been in the military with you. You're a good guy. So I don't know whatever happened to him, but his nephew name was Juan Camarina. He served in the army he was a tanker. When I found out that he was Rob's nephew, so I got you. Because Rob had my back numerous times, in spite of that he don't want to talk to me or whatever the case might be. It's still his familia is. I got their back, because he had my back in the day. I know why. Something that happened. That we got in trouble with the law because of a certain individual, and it was nothing really doing with us. It was dealing with a female, and that's what caused the wedge. But it happened a long time ago when we were, I think, like 18.
You know,
That's the only
I go ahead, man.
really ever got in trouble with the law, man. It was a long time ago. It was nothing. It wasn't even dealing with us.
Hi, all girl. How you doing? No, man. I have a friend like that over here. When we were coming up, man, he was 18, I was 14, and he was dating this girl, right? And this friend of my friend, he was from Juarez, came over and he was trying to pick up that my friend's girl, and she called him an illegal alien, but not in the kind of way that I just said. And he snapped, man. Since he couldn't hit her, he grabbed my friend by the hair and was beating the crap out of him. I was telling him and let him go. He wouldn't let him go, and he was beating him real bad, man. So I jumped in. That dude was the one from Juarez, man. He was 30 years old, man. I was 14. Man, I put a whooping on that fool, man. I put a whooping on him, man. To the fact that to this day, when he sees me, he goes pale. He calls me sir. But I saved his ass, man, and he makes pretend like he don't know me, man.
Yeah. Uh, I still consider them my friends because even though they alienated me, I still consider them a friend because you remember when the people were, you remember when, you remember the people that were there for you when you were going through something.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
no matter how much you try to alienate me, they're always going to consider my friends. When Mario died, which we never got in touch or nothing, because he was friends with Robert, and Rob had, you know, tried to mark me to be a bad person. I talked to his sisters. They're like, "Oh, he said he don't talk to you because you did Rob wrong, blah blah blah, and all this." It's all right. So then I found out that he was real sick. You know, so next thing you know, he passed away. The nickname that he had that we named him, that we had for him was Flecha, right?
Yeah.
Flecha. Well, with the day that he passed away, I'm here at the house. I go outside, and when I turn on my vehicle, the freaking blinkers are going off left and right, left and right, left and right,
Oh
and I didn't even
wow.
know. I didn't even know he had passed away. Whoever knows what blinkers are, we call them flechas, right? And then the hazards started going off by themselves on my vehicle, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. When I went to the store, came back, then I seen that he passed away. I believe his spirit had come to visit me just to let me know. Probably the Heavenly Father showed him that, like, hey, he's not a bad person. He's a good guy. he probably spirit knows the spirit, so he's seen the my spirit was glowing, like the love foundation that I maintain, and he found out that I really truly cared about him, because the love foundation radiates, and he was able to come and give me a signal, like letting me know, hey, it's me, like the signal, like flecha.
Yeah.
It would only be something that I would we would know, and that's the nickname that I would call him, flecha, arrow. He's like he was pretty sharp. He wore glasses.
He was a good dude, man. I didn't
Yeah,
have no
yeah,
issue
yeah.
with him.
I still don't got nothing against him. May he rest in peace. He he would always go like this to his glasses, right in the center. He is I have a lot of respect, like, for his mom, his grandmother, because they were there for me also. Even in the Salas family, like, his mom was cool with me. It's just something happened, and it formed a wedge. But in spite of that, I mean, I still consider them my friends, regardless. But yeah, Mario, man, he sent me out of a situation. One time we had gone to Mexico, right? It was we were gonna go buy a bottle of liquor. And I said, "Hey Mario, let's go to this bar over here. It sounds like they're jamming." So we went to a bar, Cantina, in Mexico, and we were there, we're drinking, and there was this female there just looking at us, and Mario said, "Hey, well, let's go, vámonos ya." I don't feel, he's like, something strange. I don't feel right here. So we
Oh,
got
he
up
picked it
and
up.
we walked off, and then this female comes and tells us, "Hey, y'all want to go party with me? I live on the other side of, back in the United States, along the border, little pueblo. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's a small, those little towns that were right near the border on before you go into Mexico. Just
Mm-hmm.
can't remember what the name of the little towns it was called. Uh, so we went there and pulled up. She's trying to get him to pull his Monte Carlo into the driveway,
That was a nice monte, man.
and my friend Mario's like, they said, "Hey, get off, but I don't feel right." So I don't feel right. I feel something. Ahorita vengo para atrás. That's what he said. So he took off. So I'm in there with this girl, and she's talking. We're in underneath the garage. It's open, and like two cars pull up like this, and there's a bunch of dudes. Like, hey, what's going on, and all this, blah blah blah.
Set
This
up.
dude was, yeah, yeah. They was giving me cassettes, giving me all this kind of stuff. And then when all of a sudden, not even 5 minutes, Mario comes honking, honking, and he's calling me and like yelling, come here."
Welcome, elastic machinery.
And I'll be like, I said, "I'll be right back." So yeah, tell him to park his car in here, because he had a good system in it and everything. So I went over there, and this is what he told me straight up. He said, "Te subes o te dejo." And I said, "Hey, they're pretty cool." Dije, "Te subes o te dejo, pendejo. No te voy a ir otra vez. Te subes o te dejo." He was, because he knew something was up. So I got in the vehicle, and we were hauling ass. He said that when he went to the next block, they had blocked in the block with two cars, and they were trying to keep him within the block, but he escaped. So after that, I say, "Hey, man, I will never question you ever again."
Wow.
But I had been drinking, but if you wouldn't have done that, most likely, well, something would have happened to me. Something would have happened to somebody. But there was a lot of people, like 20 dudes. So I just I'm happy that nothing happened. I don't forget those kind of things, man.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's
once
why.
you live through it, it's hard. Hi, Madeline. How you doing?
How you doing, Sister Matt? So that's why, even though I know whatever happened, I've always considered them my friends, regardless. Maybe they think I might have changed because being a combat, you're a whole different person. Maybe people see you differently because you went to combat, and you had to do what you had to do, right? And maybe they seen a different side of me when I came back. Which I came back just to visit family for a little bit. Then I went back to Fort Hood. So things do happen. Uh, in that nature. There's
Yep.
always people trying to discredit your credibility of who you are and stuff like that, and that's life, you know. I know in our hometown it was pretty bad like that. There was always people gossiping, people trying to test out, you know, who
And
you are, your manhood,
cousin,
and see if you're
you
capable to take the step to do, if somebody challenge you, what you're gonna do. A lot of people playing mind games and stuff like that, right? We were growing up.
well, also, cousin, in our hometown, my brother and I's last name was very well respected, man, because they knew we didn't give a f about anything, man. You wanted some hands, we'd feed you hands, man.
Yes. So but my friend Mario passed away last year. Matter of fact, around December time.
Yeah,
When that happened with my vehicle, I didn't know that he was that sick, man. I still don't know what sickness he had. That's the thing. I know the last picture I seen of him was there was a picture seen he was standing, but then I seen a picture when he was in a wheelchair. So I really didn't know what ailment he had when he passed away.
yeah, that's crazy, man. You never
But he
know
was
in
also,
Raymondville.
well, I know I will go sometimes that I will go down there. I'll go through the streets, see if I can find him, but I don't know where he lived or nothing like that because a
And
lot of the places where my friends lived, they're empty lots now.
man, most of the people over there, they're funny that way. Like that chick that we went to school with, that little short chick, Julie Perez. She
Julie
works
Perez.
at she was always with Henry Moreno, but she works at the Super Red, man. I walked in there, I called her by her name. She didn't even know my name. I told her my name and who my brothers were. She acted like she didn't know me, man.
Oh, the one that was dating your bro.
Yeah,
What was her name?
Julie Perez.
Julie Perez. Where did she live at?
Uh, es más, se me hace que es la carnalita del Crow.
The Crow. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Anyway, she acted like she didn't know me. We went to high school together. How the hell you not gonna know me if I know you? How the hell you not gonna know me?
that's the way it is sometimes, man. You get a good one forward. I had a phone call when I was going through my own things, trials and tribulations. When I had the block my leg, I got a call from a other friend of mine, Sam Lucas, like in 2004, 2005. He was calling me from some hospital in Galveston. It's like a Christian hospital, and he was crying, and he was telling me that he had like a month to live. That they were gonna give him a new liver, but when they were doing the operation, that they found out he had cancer,
Oh wow.
so
Hi
they couldn't
God, son.
they couldn't do the liver no more. And he was a good friend also, so he passed away, man, around that time frame. Sam Lucas. And he was another good
Wow.
friend of mine. I knew his parents and everything. So it's like a lot of the people that I would hang with, you know, uh, they're not here no more. I know another friend of mine, Furman Ariano. He had a heart attack like last year. Got a
Ooh, Furman?
Furman Ariano, yeah,
Wow.
and he had got a open heart surgery and stuff, But he's still alive, When I
Hey
see the
man.
name of the people, uh, it's like, it's like I'm just blessed to be alive, man. I mean, this guy's, I don't know what life they lived or whatever, but where I've been, I've been in situations where it's really a matter of life or death, especially being in
Yes,
combat
sir.
and all. So I just feel blessed that I'm still alive, even though
And in saying all that, man, all those friends that you just named, I got along with. I could stand them. The one that I did not like and could not stand, man, was Predator. I couldn't stand that guy, man.
nobody could stand him. He had a character, man. He was like, I was trying to play a game, trying to hustle somebody.
Yep.
But I think I don't know. I think he moved to Houston. Him and his brother. I don't know whatever happened to him, man. But
He's
yeah,
still in Raymondville. He's still in Raymondville, man.
oh, he's not living in Houston.
No, he's in Raymondville. The last time I saw him, he was living right there by the Pony League Park, and at his old house, at his mom's house. He was living there.
I don't know, because last time I went to the house, that lot was empty.
Man, I saw him. I never forget an asshole. Excuse my language.
There's a sis. How you doing, sis?
Hey, prima, ¿cómo estás?
But my sister remembers him because he was always coming to my house, and stuff like that.
Hi, Liz.
But with Rob, he got together with an older woman at a young age. She was like 10 years older than him. So I think that's what caused really a wedge between our friendship, and then I got involved with somebody and that caused wedges. But that's part of life, right? So the only thing you can do is wish good towards people. Yeah, Rob Salas.
How you doing, Tane? Welcome.
You know, his nephew Juan Camarina, he was in the military with me. We served in the same unit. I always kept him out of trouble. He could have got in trouble several times, but I kept him out of trouble. He did his 4 years and got out with an honorable discharge. Last time I hear of him, he was on my friends list and he was living in Houston. You know, but what he would get pissed off is that los tios or his uncles wanted him to bow down to him and all that, and really they really didn't like give a damn what he's done in the military or what he's done, serve his country. So he said he was going to do that. He was, he felt himself to be, even though there was his uncles at a higher, their level or even higher because of what he's
Welcome,
done.
Benny.
And I tell him I don't blame him. You shouldn't bow down to nobody. Doesn't matter who it is. If it's your tío or abuelo, abuela, if they're
You
being
my
wicked,
last
if they're being
my
wicked or they're being coming at you in a negative way, trying to have you as a carpet to step on you, hell no, that's not the way it works. It should be respect all around.
Dude, my last surviving Theo. Every time I go to his house, man, I want to bust him in the mouth, dude, because he tries to treat me like I'm a little kid, man. I can't ever say anything because he tries to shut me up. And I told him, hey, wait a minute, man. I'm almost 60 years old, man. You can't be talking to me like that, Theo. One of these days, I'm just gonna slap you in the mouth, man. You know how I am. But he's the last one, man. Out of the 5 people that came from Matamoros, he's the last one, man. My grandparents are gone. My my uncle Adolfo, my dad, he's the last one, man. The last Carbajal King.
We got how you doing, brother Benny, sister Liz.
The gangs,
Oh,
most of the gangs are here.
somebody named Tane.
And
Yeah, man.
before we get started, what's the countdown on the Cobb situation?
On the what?
On the Cobb situation, what's the countdown? I'm about to
Oh,
get
I
an
don't know,
answer.
man. I'm not worried about that guy, man. Uh, all I know is, you reap what you sow, man. That's all.
Yes, sir.
That's all I can say.
Well, while we're talking now, what is the title of the show, cousin? So we can get on topic. 2 days,
Right
Madeline
here,
says.
spiritual tests, trials, and tribulations, making a path through the obstacles. And I know cousin Jesse has been through a lot with the trials and tribulations and obstacles. I believe we've all been through some kind of trials and tribulations in life to make us who we are right now. And
Yes, sir. Welcome, Pamela.
there's a lot of spiritual
Welcome,
tests,
Uncle.
especially don't being a podcaster where people are going to come at you in a negative way because they're trying to disturb uh, what you're trying to do in the spiritual world, paranormal community, or whatever, the works that you do. So they come at you, try to stop you from doing your works. So that's what the we're speaking about today: spiritual tests, trials, and tribulations. Uh, so making a pass through the obstacles. I know everybody here has been through something, and whatever you went through, whatever you had to overcome, you remember what you went through, and you have that wisdom and knowledge that you remember what you had to do to overcome a situation in which you know you can help out people that might be going through the same scenario that you went through at one point in time. Lester Machinery said, "Whoever is without sin, throw the first stone." He told it Moses that's accusing, not himself.
I don't know elastic machinery because I'm the type of guy that I see human everything, and I would actually throw a stone at somebody. That's just me, man. I'm sorry.
So we know when this people think that the tests and trials and tribulations happen we're around when we're older, right? But not necessarily. A lot of the tests, trials, and tribulation happen as we're kids. That's when we're growing up. Uh, that's when negative seeds are planted when we're
uh,
children,
I
or
got
we get
tested early,
targeted,
cousin.
or we get targeted spiritually by things of the balance, the yin and the yang, which is the good and the bad. And primarily what happened to me or probably to my cousin is we got targeted by brujas and brujos that were coming after us because somebody was dabbling with something in the families, right? So they were like kind of like cowards, right? If you're doing something, at least man up to what you're doing. So to
Exactly.
me, those kind of individuals are cowards because if they're dabbling in something, at least take the heat of what you're dabbling with. But no, cowardly people rather send it to somebody else within the family, and that's why call them cowards. And even though that in actuality, since I wasn't accepting no negativity, and we pray against that will go back to the sender. But yes, I'm talking about trials and tribulations of growing up. A lot of negative seeds that can be planted when evil is how should I say, it's got control of the head of the household, which is the parents, then it infiltrates the family and starts attacking everybody, which is the children, right? It gives them bad influence, bad thoughts. It's a young stage of a bondage, right? Which it opens up to everything because the head of the household are being bonded. So that's what I'm going speaking about is the trials and tribulations of when I was young. I went through a lot of trials and tribulation that I couldn't say to anybody about it because how strict the parents were. We were only allowed to say certain things. We couldn't say everything, and if we felt like we could say something, then that's when we get hit in the face
Five across the eyes,
because
man.
we get hit in the face because we're not old enough to be able to be thinking for ourselves. We're not able to say anything without somebody's permission. And I'm just here to tell you uh, that yeah, there's a certain way that yeah, obedience, but come on, man, that's just too much. I'm saying what I have to say now. I've been adult for a long time. When I went to combat to serve my country, I had all the credibility right there to say whatever the hell I wanted to say when I went to fight for my country. Uh, but yes, a lot of tests and trials and tribulations that you try to warn people, and sometimes it goes one in one ear and out the other uh, because let me see something here. I got a message.
Yeah, elastic. I've been reading y'all's messages. I need to
Okay,
go back
but
and see them.
uh, uh, it was it was a boy saying that he would jump on, but he had did a test run on some mushrooms, so he's not feeling too well right now.
I'm laughing hard, man, because I tested some mushrooms back in the day, man, and my mom was trying to pull me out from under the bed because I kept screaming that the snakes were trying to get me. You know, my mom, salte de ahí, pendejo.
See, Sister Dolores says, "Do not think that I have came to bring peace to earth. I have not come to bring to by the sword." I don't know. Is that
That's what
back
Jesus Christ said.
in the old Revelations? I
Hmm.
would think, right, Matthew. So that's what I'm speaking about. You're talking about something. You're talking about something that happened a long time ago. Matthew 10:34. I'm talking about 1969 when I was born on up. I'm talking about the present. I'm talking about the past. You know, times of the past are the past for a reason, and the present is a present. The only thing I'm saying is that I remember the trials and tribulations that I had to go through, in which anything could have happened. You know, because that in the 70s, probably 60s, also the discipline was very harsh by
Oh,
by the parents,
yes.
especially from our nationality. It was pretty harsh.
My grandfather on my dad's side, man, he was very, very strict, man. And if you went like that, that was enough to set him out to give you five across the eyes, man. A
Very
mí no me andes
strict.
chistando los dientes. I could already hear him, man. I can hear him.
Very strict. How you doing, Renner?
What's up, brother? ¿Qué
But what do you
pasó?
remember about what I'm speaking about, cousin? I'm talking about spiritual stuff that I remember. Imagine this: getting a whooping so bad that you're pissed off because of the whooping was so vicious, and when you're upset, right? That's a spiritual opening. You know, being angry. Then you're outside somewhere, you know, just trying to forget about the ass whooping that you got, and then bad thoughts start coming into your mind. Like for example, something saying do something bad, cuss your parents, and that's the devil. That's the demons, right?
I got one for you,
Um,
cousin. I got one for
and
you.
you know, I'm
Before
just I'm just saying that those are the things that were caught, or that this unclean spirit, because you know when you have anger, they come to try to see if they can bond you or possibly possess you. So the bad thoughts that were coming to me was not good. You know, that there were so many bad thoughts that were coming to me that at the end, as when I calmed down a little bit from the ass whooping after about an hour, right, that I would say, God, forgive me for the thoughts that are coming into my mind, because I know those wasn't my thoughts. There was some the spirits that are around, this unseen spirits trying to infiltrate for me to wish bad upon somebody, in which I would, you know, ask God for forgiveness. But that would happen all the time, you know, and sometimes uh, the demeanor of the loved ones, you know, or parents, you could tell there was something there, that it wasn't them, that something else was behind that whooping, because you wanted to plant a negative seed of hatred and anger. So yeah, I had to do a lot of forgiveness when I was a kid, and just to try to not become a bad person with hatred and anger. I always had to maintain the love funding regardless of the whoopings or whatever was happening around me. It was hard, right? But I'm just sharing some of the obstacles that I had to endure, that I remember, that when things like that would happen, that the unseen forces would come trying to infiltrate, not just me, but the rest of the family members. Go ahead, cousin.
I remember. You remember before I showed up to stay with y'all that I was still in Fort Worth. You know why I got sent that way? Uh, we had a deal with my father. You know, as long as we weren't sniffing paint, we could drink and smoke bud at the house, right? Well, you know, one day I was drinking a beer and my stepmom started talking crap, and I talked crap back, and I was in my room and I was drinking my beer like that. My dad came and smashed the can in my face, man, and broke my nose in front of my friends, man, and that pissed me off, man. It pissed me off to no end. So
Where was
I
this
took
at?
here in Fort Worth. I took off running, man, and I snapped, dude. I really snapped, and I think that the spiritual opening I had, I actually got something in me because I went and got a rifle with a scope, and I covered myself with branches and belly crawled through the alley, man, all the way to behind my dad's house. I had him in my scope, man. I was about to pull the trigger, and then I repented. I fought against what was in me, and I repented, but something had to die, man. So I killed the neighbor's dog, and that's how I wound up in Raymondville. I had to leave because of the anger that I had toward my father. I wanted to kill him, man. And that's like I said, I had a story for you,
But
man. That's my story.
yours was because of there was a lot of violence. The
Yes.
well, kind of like in our situation, a lot of violence. That no, eventually as you grow, you get tired of the BS. You know that you want to defend yourself. Where anybody that grows is eventually going to defend themselves from any kind of violence, whether it be
Yeah,
mental abuse or physical abuse. You're gonna stand up and defend yourself
man.
eventually.
Yeah, man. I got tired of it, man, because he would whoop our asses every day, man. Every day. If he didn't whoop our asses one day that he skipped, we thought that he didn't love us anymore because he hadn't hit us that day.
You
we
thought that
expected it.
the whoopings was love, and
Yeah.
that's not the right way. But we were just kids.
Yep, and I saw him get bonded, man. I saw him when I was very little, man. I was 4. He got bonded. I saw him swing from a rope in a barn. He hung himself, man. I went and got help, and they cut him down. So yeah, I've had my
You said
share of
he attempted to
tribulations.
commit suicide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then
So
I got traumatized after that. I could not no, I could not be away from him because I thought he would never come back. So yeah, man. After my mom left, I had a very hard time, man. Like I said, I had to raise my brothers, man. At 5 years old, I had to raise my brothers, man. So I've seen my share of crazy stuff, man. My childhood was not easy. I remember there was this lady that my dad left us with that I had to kiss her feet so that she would feed my brothers.
oh wow, you had to kiss her feet just so
Yeah,
she could feed your brothers.
yeah,
She would tell you to kiss her feet.
yeah. And they would every day at lunchtime, man. She know you know what you got to do. So I had to bend down and kiss her feet so that my brothers could eat.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I've had
Who
my
was this?
share of tribulations.
Who was this lady cousin?
So I can't remember who she was, but I know that my dad used to leave us there. He was here in Fort Worth, man. He was here in Fort Worth. Then, like I said, I've always been there for my little brothers, man. I've always taken ass whoopings for my little brothers, man. But I've always been a good big brother. But it's
So
the
we're
things we
talking
go
about
through. It's the things
tribulations
we
in
go
our
through, Primo.
relationship
That
right now. We're
it's the
going
things that
deep.
we go through that make us who we are now.
What are the things? You probably been through a lot, so you probably have all kinds of stories. I
Yeah,
know I still have. I'm only saying a little bit right now. I don't want to say everything, but
there was a lady that he hooked up with that she had kids and her kids were bedwetters. My little brother Gilbert was like 2 or 3 years old, and they would pee the bed and blame it on my little brother Gilbert, and then that lady would beat my little brother, man, and I got tired of it. And one day I stood up to her, and it turned into a big old deal, man, where my dad got home and things happened, and she tried to kidnap my little brother Gilbert, man, and my dad kicked the door in, and it was just a big old scandal, man. And it was, I mean, I remember all this, man.
so there was a woman that was with your dad.
Yeah, that she would beat my little brother Gilbert constantly, man. And then when my dad tried to leave, she tried to kidnap my little brother.
Lester Machinery says the monuments and symbols of Babylon litter the streets of Dallas and Fort Worth, Austin especially.
Oh yeah, man, I've seen
It's,
my share of dirt, man. You know, that's just a couple of stories that I can tell you, man, that where things were done to us that weren't fair, man, and it was just it is what it is, man. We were powerless to stop it.
she was insane, probably possessed. So sometimes you could tell when somebody has an unclean spirit in them.
Hi, Olivia. Saludos,
Michael
Miguel.
Rendon. Saludos, AB El Primo. ¿Qué hubo, Michael Rendon? You sound familiar, Rendon. Are you from San Antonio? I knew a
Yeah,
Rendon in the army. He used to be a professional boxer back in the 90s or 80s, early in the 80s and 90s. He was from San Antonio. He was in the army with me, stationed in 212 Cav.
literally, cousin, because of the things that went down in our home life. That's why me and my brother Joe, but by the time we were 10, man, we were already full fledged gang members, man. We were always out in the street. We'd leave early in the morning and wouldn't come back till like the street lights came on, man.
Yeah, I remember.
My little brother Gilbert, he's not like us because he wasn't raised with us. He was raised by my grandfather. So he was never out doing the stuff we were doing. We were teenagers, but we were doing grown up stuff, man.
Thank you, brother Exuberance. We got Sister Inette Persina. Persina. Uh,
Annette, how are you? Welcome.
yeah, I remember a lot of things, man. Spiritual trials and tribulations when I was growing up. Uh, One of the ones that I remember the most, what happened in the parish hall, because I was raised a Catholic. It was during that they used to have summer school, right, during the summer. So we would go to the summer school. You know, we have class in the mornings. By lunchtime, they take us to the swimming pool. We swim, come back, and they have like lunch for us and stuff like that. Uh, the school the church would cater, right? So I remember there was this sister that had come from, I guess, overseas. Uh, that her name was Mary. They would call her Sister Mary, but it seemed like all the sisters kind of like bowed down to her. You know, her name was Sister Teresa, or Teresa. So she was going from church to church. So she was somebody high echelon as a nun. That she was going from I guess from church to church. I remember I was reading a book because it was my turn to read. as I was reading the little, to give you a little chapter to read. So I was reading it to the rest of the class. The door opened and this nun is there. She's just looking at me. What caught me strange was her eyes. She had like a yellowish glare into her eyes. She came straight towards me. She grabbed me from my seat. She drugged me out of the classroom, dragged me down straight. I mean, literally drugged me all the way down the hallway, and she threw me in a closet. You know, and I didn't know what I did wrong because I was reading. I was just reading. So like about a couple hours passed by, and she's got me in this dark janitor room. She opens up the door, and she's got a little smirk on her face, and she tells me, "Are you afraid?" And I will tell her, "No, God is with me." She get mad and lock it up again for another 2 3 hours. So this happened for a course of about 2 weeks. What she was there, or a week. The time that she was there, she was just messing with me. I would tell my mother what she was doing, and my mother would say, "Well, she probably sees something in you that she's just locking you up in there or something like that." I said, "Mom, I think she's a evil woman." And my mother would tell you, "You probably deserve it. You probably did something wrong." So I remember, like when everybody's eating and having their little break, and she'd be in the center, and all the kids be around her, and she just have her hands in the air like that, and she's dancing, and all the kids are all around her, like they're all happy, but I'll be in the distance just looking at her because I already know what her heart was, that she was an evil person because of what she was doing to me. So to the person in charge of the parish hall, her name was Fela. She was like lesbiana, or I don't know, you remember her, Ophelia. Ophelia, what was her last name? I can't remember her last name. Well, they call her Fela. She was like a butch, and
You call her fella. Like, hey, fella.
Fela, Ophelia, Fela, and she was like,
Hey, Joe Breezy.
she's like, how come you just don't tell her you're afraid? And I said, I'm not. Why am I going to lie to her if I'm not afraid? And she just goes, just all you got to do is she was trying to convince me to tell her I was afraid. But you see, if I would have said that I was afraid, that could have been a spiritual opening. You see, because in our town there was a lot of witchcraft, brujas. So I never said I was afraid, and I stuck to that. And she's like, well, she's gonna keep on throwing you in the closet. It's kind of like she knew something too, right? So it's kind of like they were trying to get me to be scared, but that didn't work, right? Um, so all the years went by, joined the military, went to combat, and I'm seeing when Mother Teresa passed away. I think it was like in the 90s when she passed away. If I'm correct.
Yep.
When I looked at her at the picture of Mother Teresa, it was the same person that drugged me into the closet.
I taxidermy.
So so to me, it's like I already knew. Not saying that she was an evil person, but it's possible that you're gonna have a negative attachment on her. That doing works, going from church to church, that there is things that are there that could have probably attached themselves to her, or the other solution will be somebody infiltrating within the church, a bruja, probably infiltrating the church as she climbed the ladder and became the head of all nuns. But her true nature was something else. The only thing I can do is I would just leave it up to God. Last time I seen her, she came in spirit. It's when I was in the army. I was in my room asleep, and when I woke up, she was standing right in my the foot of my bed. She was wearing the nun outfit and everything. She had that same look. I seen her how she looked back in the day. When I seen her, I said, "A type bound rebuke in Jesus Christ's name," and she fled down the hallway real fast. Her spirit. But that was the last time that I seen her, and it was a time frame of when she died, when she came to try to scare me, I guess. I guess one final attempt. I just want to. That's one of the trials and tribulations I had to go through. Somebody says, always remember this with Mother Teresa.
It's Prima Ivy.
Yeah, she was always. I don't know, something strange about her. I believe when I seen the yellow glare in her eyes, to me, now that I'm older and I fight spiritually, I'm able to distinguish when somebody has like the gin in them, which has got a yellow glare. The Shakespeare Skinwalker got a yellow glare. I guess people that the dabbled in the dark arts or done so their soul, they have like a yellow glare in their eyes. That in some form of way that the Catholic religion was deeper into something else than the believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that's one of the reasons I distanced myself away from the Roman Catholic. I believe they were affiliated with the pagans back in the day. They were into paganism. The pagans were their friends, and you know what the pagans would do back in the day. That mountain, they had different levels. They had to do a ritual on every level. When they get to the top of the mountain, a person gets bled out. After they get bled out, they burn the body as a blood sacrifice. That's what the pagans of old would do. Yes. That's when she's doing this is history document about about Mother Teresa. So I was able to see right through her. She would get mad. She would get really upset, but she would get mad when I tell her God is with me. I spend many days inside a closet, dirty a closet with I couldn't go to the restroom or nothing. You know, she had me locked up in there, but it didn't break me. It just made me stronger.
Yeah, I don't know how about being locked in the closet. My dad's stepmom's adopted father was American Indian cousin. That dude was red, man. That dude was red and thin, and his name was Teofilo. And he would always lock me in the closets, man. I hated that old bastard, man. He would lock me
Katie
in the
Stevens says
closet.
drug dealers torture people to death more than she did. I ain't afraid of drug dealers, man.
I'm
I'm
just
talking
afraid when
about
they won't share.
I'm talking about something that when I was a kid, certain people when I was talking about her, yeah, of course there's been brujas, brujos, cults along the borders have been killing children for a very long time. Even when I was growing up, kids were disappear. You know, a lot of blood sacrifices. In Mexico, there's been a lot of grave sites being found from people being dead.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think the drug dealers live in fear. Actually, the reason I say that because they believe in the Santa Muerte. Am I right? A lot of drug dealers they think they're bad, but then they have to pray to the Santa Muerte to protect them from their evil deeds. But that's part of karma. You know, you do evil, evil comes back to you seven times fold.
Well, they're playing to death, man, and not realizing that the Santa Muerte is very deceitful and betrays, especially if you promise something that you don't accomplish, then it comes after you. So you're running from your own thing that you worship because it comes after you.
Yeah, I hear about a lot of the evil people that do the evil works. A lot of this drug dealers and stuff, they're part of cults.
An old
Uh,
hag is like a old witch, Liz. That's why they call them old hags.
brujas. That's been happening for a very long time. Uh, it's really dying on the borders, east side of the border. Uh, of course, brujas and brujos, in which some of the cartels, people that work for the cartels, are part of the cults. So to them, it's okay to do all these things. They go after people that don't agree to what they're doing, or that they feel that they're disrespected in some kind of way. That's what they go after. I'm just saying that here in this world, we live and we die, right? That's part of life. Of
Yes,
course,
Al
all the
Gore.
cartoons.
Yes, Al Gore. I agree.
Jeez, Brenda said that's not right. I know the old girl I dated wasn't pretty, but don't call her a hag.
She was the sea hag from Popeye, the Sailor Man. Yeah, I know
So
a lot of drug dealers, Al Gore, that were always after the palero that I used to hang out with to do work for them, man. So yeah, they do go a lot to Palo Mayumbe.
I know there's all kinds of cartels along the borders. I grew up around all that, man. I know about the cartels and the people affiliated with the cartels and the things that would happen. Certain people that are affiliated with the cartels. Some people were found dead in the sugar canes. Some people were found dead in the canals wrapped around in concertina wire with their privates stuck in their mouth. Some were found beheaded. Some were found chained up in the ocean, eaten by the fish. I grew up around all that, man.
You wanna know some things that the cartels did? Elastic machinery. My family, well, not my family, but my dad's family had a lot of little rancheritas that he grew up in the hills of Matamoros and and Coahuila. All those lands that they had up there, the rancheritas que estaban allá, las rancherizas, the cartel took over all that land, and all the people there, they were given two choices: leave or die. And if you didn't leave right away, you died. So all that land that my dad's family owned, the cartel took it. Everybody was displaced or got killed.
How you doing, Hope Oofy? Yeah, was one thing that we would always get is threatened. Always get threats, death threats. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, blah 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 blah. I would just ignore people because there was the kids that I was growing up that were in school with me that their parents and uncles were affiliated with cartels. So they were listen to the conversations that their parents or uncles would have. Then they try to threaten me like that they were part of the cartel. You know what I'm saying?
Al Gore's Z.
So then you got to do what you got to do when a kid your age is threatening you, they're going to do this or that because they think they're part of the cartel. And then you got to whoop that ass.
I hope.
He said, "What cartel was this? It's probably an old cartel from back in the day,
Los Zetas.
Los Zetas. Well, they still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Every frontera has a cartel. Yeah, a lot of brujeria.
Oh yeah.
One day, I got to send a video by somebody. and it wasn't a good video. They sent it to me out of the blue late at night. I don't know if they sent it to me as a threat or something, but the video I received was not good. It was guess somebody in Mexico, somebody with a mask, and people that had beat up this guy real bad, and it was this guy with a mask, and he had a butcher knife, and he started dismembering this person piece by piece till the only thing that was left was the body. It had everything else was already cut, and he just went for the head. And the person that was all missing all his limb, bleeding out, was saying, finish me," begging that individual to finish him, and he took off his head. So to me, it's like I don't take threats lightly. The only thing that does is to me is keep my guards up just in case something does surface up, that I know that I got to do what I got to do, to overcome the threat. But yeah, there's some sick people. Yeah, most likely they were part of the cartel that did something wrong, and they just got eliminated for disobeying an order.
Yeah, you were talking about spiritual stuff, cousin.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know we went off topic right now, but let's go back to the spiritual stuff. Then we can come
well,
back and talk about that. Go ahead,
uh,
cuz.
I used to have a sword that I meditated with, and I would focus my energy into the blade. Okay, and I went to Mississippi, man, and I took it with me, and
But it says if you're threatening, you take that serious and take all measures to protect it. That's so crazy. Scary stuff. Keep a prayer on you. No, they're just part of life, man. I grew up along the border with the cartels and all that, so that's nothing new to me. Nothing to be scared. It was to us. It was just a regular way of living, So we grew up around all that.
we
There's
grew
nothing to
up
be
saying,
scared. You just get used to it.
we grew up saying, I wish a motherfucker would. But yeah, I got into this altercation with a guy there in Mississippi, right? And we all lived in the same house. They kept me at work and they sent him home. Well, right about 1 o'clock in the morning, man. And I know you're gonna call bull on this, cousin, but this actually happened. Uh, I start hearing my sword call to me that it was being handled, but that it wasn't me. And I told the foreman, "Hey, man, you sent that guy home. He's messing with my stuff." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "My sword is crying to me that he has it." He goes, "Ah, nah, you're crazy, you're crazy." So after we got off work, man, I went home. We went to the house, and the sword wasn't in my room. I told him, "See, I told you it was crying to me that it was being handled." He goes, "Nah, man, you're stupid." I go, "Wait a minute, it's crying to me right now." He goes, "What?" I go, it's crying to me right now. It's telling me where it is." He goes, "Well, where is it?" I go, "Follow me. I'm going to show you where it is." I came out the back door, went around the side of the house, and he had thrown it into the woods, man. I found it at the clearing in the woods. It was crying to me, telling me where it was, man. And he freaked out, man. He goes, "How did you do that?" I said, "I meditate with the sword. I put my essence into it. So if anybody handles it, that it's not me, it cries out saying that it's being handled." And he freaked out, man, because I actually found it. And I didn't go looking around this one. I went straight to where it was because it was calling me. If that's not spiritual, cousin, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's spiritual. It's like somebody will lose something, they would always call me because I was always finding it. Like if something when my mom was missing something, I would always find it. And sometimes I had that ability. So my neighbor was missing something, they'll go call me to their house so I can find, like, she was missing her wedding band. She had lost her wedding band, and I was able to find it. I found it in the yard. So I had the ability to find things that were missing from people. So there was always asking my mom, send Abram over here because I'm missing this. Now, I'll find it. I had the gift to be able to find things that were missing. Just like when I went to the woods and I found the truck that belonged to a guy that had been missing for 2.5 months, and his body was recovered. He was placed in holy ground. Mike Rendon said, "Abe, do you know El Mesqueton in Texas? In Cali, something happened." I knew these guys that were in the military that they had land in Mexico, and they were part of the cartel. One was a retired major, and the other one was a Texas Ranger, right? I guess they were already old. They were in the one was in the 80s, and the other one was in the 70s. I was shooting pool with this young guy that he said he was from Mexico. We were just talking. I was telling him that I was in war. Telling him where I was at in combat and stuff, and he was telling me that he could cut a cow with a regular knife. That he could cut a cow in pieces with a regular knife. That he would. That's what you know, that they use them. That he had that he could cut a whole cow with just one knife, real quick. They had a nickname. I guess they call him the what was it? Like the blade something. I can't remember the nickname he said, but he was like 19 years old. So I go drinking my beer, and then the night passes by, and these people come. These guys that I was telling you that are part of cartel from Mexico, and they start. I see him talking to that guy, and they're like, "Hey, we want to introduce you to somebody." And that old man is going like the guy on the guy with his eyes, like that's him. So they introduced me to him. So hey, oh, we already met. I told him like that. So I already knew the way he was acting, how he was looking at him, that they brought him to do something to me. So I went outside and I gave my back to the guy just to see what it was going to do. He came outside and I turned around and he was going to reach for his knife, and I just told him, "Don't do it." Like, so I was just waiting to see what's going to do because I was going to face him, but I knew that those were the guys that send him. So after I eliminated him, I was going to go after those old men that put him up to it. But he just turned around instead of, because we'd spoken, he knew where I was at. He turned around and walked back inside the bar. So when I was going to my vehicle, those men were just going off at him like they were pissed off. I don't know what happened to the guy, but he chose not to do nothing to me. Because we shot pool, we're cool with each other. But I knew that those old men had put him up to it because they had a ranch in Mexico, and I believe they were part of a cartel over there near Matamoros. That's where they had a rancho out there, and they got the guy to come after me. Yeah, there's some evil people. I mean, this old man, they're freaking in their 80s and 70s, and just because they have money, they think they have power over people. They can use people that are poor, right? That are struggling, that they're gonna use them to do something freaking evil, you know. And I never seen those men again. If I wanted to be excuse my French, a son of a bitch, a person que le vale madre, I would have taken out those old men right there and then, just for bringing that guy to come up after me.
You were well within your rights to do so.
Yeah, but I said to myself, I'm gonna leave it up to God to take care of it, and that's what I did. Left it up to God. But I could have done something to those guys, those old men. They wouldn't do. I would have tore them up, man. They wouldn't have made it back to the ranch. But I left it up to God because I'm not supposed to do anything like that. Not unless it's out of self defense, then it's a whole different story. Then everything goes. That's where I turned around to see what the guy was gonna do. But he chose not to do nothing.
It's funny you said that, man, because I had the same experience like that there in Raymondville at my ex's house. I invited this guy to come to a cookout, and he brought somebody with him, right? And then we were standing there talking, man, and he told the vato, "Entonces qué? ¿Lo vas a hacer o qué?" And I took two steps back, man, and was watching both of them. And then the guy invited told the other guy, ¿qué? ¿A poco le tienes miedo? And I looked at both of them. I said, pues no se detengan, vénganse los dos, pero se van a ir gateando de aquí porque les voy a poner una putiza. And they both left. They both left. But yeah, he brought that dude over to do me in my own yard, man. What the hell? What kind of disrespect is that, man?
I
So he
ran
told the
into
guy, he told the guy, ¿a poco le tienes miedo?
uh, I was in Bell County. There was this guy that didn't like me, and he was part of I guess, whatever you want to call him, an organization from Mexico. And he always ran with like 20 people. So one day I'm at the flea market with my son. My son was like 5 years old, and I'm being followed by like 15 dudes. Everywhere I go, they're following me, and like they're going to do something. So I stopped at this shop, and I knew the guy was an ex-Houston police officer, and I was telling him that I was in a. These guys were following me. No, he had heart problems. So give me those knives right there. Got some knives from him. Put them in a bag, and they're following me around the flea market. I said, "Mijo, go unlock the door, put the kids in ignition, and start it up." You know, or just put the kids in ignition for me. And my son went over there and just unlocked the door, gave him the bag, but I pulled out the knives I had bought. All the guys were coming out the gate, lining up outside the gate. I had bought this, some blades from the guy, and I turned around and I told him, I said, "¿Quién va a ser el primero que va a morir hoy?" Like who's going to be the first one to die today? I had the blades in my hands. So they're all looking at me, talking to each other, and then they just walked back inside the gate. I got him a vehicle and I left. And those are cowards because I had my son with me. If somebody's going to target me. But, when you have your son, man, I want to fight for my son. My son is right there with me. I want to tear him up, every single one of them. I would have showed him what I was about, and I would have took on every single one of those person out without even thinking about it twice. So they just stayed away from me, and I never seen them again.
You know what they say, cousin? Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
But they wasn't going to get punched in the mouth. They were going to they're going to be dealt with that accordingly that day.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's why I don't
Then
go
you wasn't
around.
playing around. Then you wasn't playing around. I just wanted to see who was going to be the first one to go that day. They all decided to go walk back in there instead.
I know how that is, man.
Like a lot of these people that are like that, uh, they like to go after people that are afraid of them, right?
They look for the weak ones, man.
For
They
the
look
weak
for the
ones.
weak ones. Yeah.
When they run into a true warrior, they don't want to do nothing with a true warrior. They rather go target the weak. That's what they do.
When
Target,
I met my
and they
pastor,
won't do it one on one. They won't do it one on one because no son hombres one on one. They can do it uno a uno. In my book, eso no son hombres. When they do it in montones, son cobardes.
yeah,
Straight up.
when I met my pastor, man, he asked me how do I look at the world, and I've told him ever since I was a little boy, through my eyes, I've always seen the world with the eyes of a warrior. Because I've always been that way, man. Because I was always in protect mode for my little brothers, and then he freaked out. But yeah, I can understand how that is, cousin. You got to do what you got to do.
You know, and of course, people that are affiliated with certain things are going to say, "Oh, this person was saying this and this and that." They can say whatever the hell I want to say. I don't care. I don't care. I stand by what I say. Since you just like I got into it, my nephew's mom gave her a beat down. Andaba la cosa mala.
I can see Beatrice whooping that ass. Go, prima.
Yeah, what she was trying to take my son Junior. She's talking about my son's mother. Yeah, I remember that day. She was coming with bad intent. I had a blood clot in my left leg, bro. I couldn't even walk.
Oh, you don't want to mess with that CS temperament, no, or much more. You don't want
De
to
la
mess with the
Fuente.
De La Fuente side. Things get crazy.
Yeah, by the time you see that, it's too late, man. Uh, we try to give people chances. Like, hey, stop disrespecting me like that. Stop. But once you got all them receipts stacked up, and you cross the line one more time, and you catch us on the bad day, that's it.
Oh wow,
It's,
you had just had a car accident the day before.
yeah.
So for you to get up and move around and beat her ass, man, she must have did something really bad because I'm pretty sure you were hurting. Cause
Well, I had a blood clot on my left leg. It was raining. It had flooded in the park. I don't know. It's just it didn't happen that way. I just thank God that I was able to raise my son all these years. Just crazy stuff, man. There's people that try to paint you to be a certain way. You know, try to
so you were feeling
evil
nice.
people that try to paint you to be a certain way, to look a certain way, just to talk crap about you. We see that a lot with some of the people from other podcasts that like talking crap and starting shit. You just don't know what they're getting themselves involved in.
But you are right about that, cousin. We will give you one warning. I gave one warning to Arriaga. I gave one warning to Cervantes. Everybody I've ever fought, I gave them one warning. Hey, you're fucking up. I go. I won't be held responsible for what comes after this. This is your one warning.
This is nothing but shit comes out of bad people. KD7, that's what he said.
Yep. Yeah. Texas learned me. It's just that sometimes, man, violence is the only thing that certain people understand. You try to be a good person and talk with them and try to come to a resolution without violence, but sometimes people all they understand is violence.
Or not
That's
that.
it.
It's not that they understand violence, it's that they think you're afraid of them because you're not getting upset with them. They think, oh, this guy probably, is all talk. But once they see the other side, it's too late.
And that's the thing though, cousin.
A lesson must be taught. Am I right,
And that's
cousin?
the thing though. They want to act like like thugs and gangsters, and then you beat that ass, and they call the cops and say, "I'm a victim." What the hell,
Yeah.
man?
That they're the victim.
Well, they were a victim, all right. They weren't a victim till you started talking shit. Now you're a victim.
I've seen people when I was in the army, 40-0 on Badingo fights. So when I was stationed in Germany, I was forced to fight fights against African American and went 40-0, undefeated. I fought people, Bloods, Cribs from all over around the United States. Horse fights. They were way bigger than me, and I still overcame them. And they would tell me, "How come you just don't let one of a kind beat you up? If you let one of a kind beat you up, we won't make you fight anymore." And I was like, "That's not how I was raised. I was raised to defend myself." But yeah, I was 19 years old, 40-0 in Bandingo fights. I have a picture of me that you could tell that I was in all these fights, just by the way I look. Not because they beat me up or did anything to my face. I just had a lot of anger build up on me. That I just did what I had to do without thinking about it twice. At that time, I was 19. I wasn't in the path that I'm on right now, so I had to do what I had to do. People talking crap, and saying they're going to do this or do that, and then you just prove them wrong. Uh, all I know is once they seen blood, they get scared, and some of them they don't even remember what happened to them because they'll be knocked out. But that was a long time ago. Back then there was VHS. People were recording with the camcorders, VHS
Big old cameras. And
recording.
I used to love it when somebody would tell me, "I'm gonna whoop your ass." I'd look them dead in the face and tell them, "Well, that's just another ass whooping I gotta take. Let's do this."
The last dude that I fought, he was like 6'9" and weighed. I would see him bench over like 600, 700 pounds at the gym. That's the last dude that brought me to fight. He was a big dude. He said that when he grabbed me, that he was gonna break my back, and I was gonna be paralyzed for the rest of my life. That's what he told me. So I was just studying him. I seen that he was fairing his left side, so I figured he had an injury there. He was way older than me, so we fought. I let him throw the first punch. I seen he was too slow because he was a lot of muscle, but he was too slow for me. And I was just messing with him because he said something to me about my mother, and that's why I focused. And I was toying with him the whole fight, and got that opening. I hit him one time. I didn't even hit him with a fist to knock him out. I cut the circulation to his brain with one single blow to the little temple vein.
Phoenix Eye.
He was out for the count. His eyes were like this, and his body just fell to the ground. And all the people that are around me, which were all African American, I was I was the only Hispanic there. They were like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is that?" They're all freaked out. You know, what happened to that guy? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that guy was ever the same after that. He started having all kinds of problems, uh, strokes and heart attacks after that blow I gave him. But that's the guy that told me that he would grab me, that he was going to break my back, and I was going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. So I had to do what I had to do. I
Yeah,
had no choice.
Texas learned me the if you can't whoop somebody's ass, man, that just means you ain't training hard enough. You gotta train, man, and make sure that you train enough to get the job done, man. That was the beauty of the '80s, man. That people actually fought you. Now everybody's a coward and wants to be pulling out a gun or a knife, man, because they can't take an ass whooping. They don't want to take that L.
They want to talk a big game, but the first thing they want to say, "I got a license," and you don't need a license to have a gun. A license is just going to implicate you. You don't need a license to have a weapon, and
You don't
there's
even
many,
need.
many different weapons that when you have a license, you're registered. You don't have to be registered to carry a weapon.
And
You
now
just
all you gotta do is telling somebody to mutual combat so that nobody goes to jail after the fight.
I'm just saying this. I hear when those guys come up in here talking about they have a license to carry a weapon. Man, I am a weapon, and I don't need
Exactly.
I don't need to carry a license. They're just going to incriminate you, man. But yeah, there's people that come in and try to threaten me like that. So like, get the hell out of here with that crap. Talking to a veteran that,
Pasa buenas noches, Michael.
órale, Michael, pasa buenas
Gracias por
noches.
venir.
Buenas noches, Michael Rendon.
And how we used to say it in the old days, Michael. Este guacho, loco. Anyway, Michael, may the Lord bless you, keep you, and keep you safe.
Al Gore said we all those kung fu movies.
Huh?
Something about kung fu movies. Facts. They used to watch all those kung fu movies back
On
in the day.
Saturday. On Saturday. Kung Fu
Bruce Lee
Theater.
movies. Yeah, all that's part of the path of what you choose, what to do, what not to do. That's why there's always forgiveness. You know, if we do something wrong, we have to repent for our sins. It's got for forgiveness because nobody's perfect.
I'm not even gonna comment on that elastic machinery. I'm gonna just not even go there.
The word said, when they prosecute us, they bless us. Who's saying they got beat up by a lesbian?
Deborah.
She didn't say that.
Oh, no lesbians beat you up. Be careful, they knock you out. They're gonna be saying, "Scissor me timber."
He said, no, I seriously don't know what happened. She said lesbians were attacking her. I didn't see her say anything like that.
They were shooting their shot, man.
That's horrible.
Texas lesbian. Yeah, man, you need to be careful. You know what you call a gay dinosaur. I'm not gonna say it. I'm just saying you know what they call it. We're gonna try to keep it PG.
Yeah, just a lot of things, man, like that in the nature. I'm not sure everybody's been in some kind of fight. Al Gore, who was the one that was talking about? Elastic Machinery was getting into those Star Wars fights with the lightsabers back in the day.
Oh man.
Yeah, I still work out daily, Monday through Friday, and try to stay busy to the best that I can. You know, I know I'm getting older, but I still got to stay active because that's what I see. There's always somebody trying to test you out, man. Always somebody trying to come at you in a negative way. So we have to be ready for anything spiritual or anything physical. No, I'm talking about the test, spiritual test. Sometimes some of these obstacles that placed in us is because of what spiritual openings that individual might have or what they're affiliated with that they're being used as the obstacle. Sometimes you're able to say, I tie bind and rebuke you if that person is being controlled by something unclean or unseen. The person becomes normal and the threat leaves. So the person is not a threat anymore. All I'm saying, they were part of the obstacle. But when you fight spiritually, that's when you put it to the spiritual test. Because sometimes it's something else within the person that's making them do what they're doing, and they have no control of it because they're being bonded and used that way. All the people that have fought in Germany, they all became my friends because I told them I'd rather have them a friend than an enemy, and they were cool with me. We really didn't have talk or anything like that, but they respected me after they gained my respect after what happened. You know.
I'll be right back, cousin.
The ones the only reason I told them that is because they were afraid of me. And after going 40 and over, there was a lot of people because I defeated them real fast. So they were afraid of me. I tell you, you don't have to look away from me or step away from me when I'm coming like to the mess hall or anything like that. I said I'm not going to do nothing to you, man. The past is the past. Just move on forward with your life. You know. You know that's one thing is sometimes people experience something they live in fear. You're not supposed to live in fear. That's a spiritual opening. Yes, that's true. I've seen that when they use people, they've come up against me, brothers and sisters. That's what I was gonna come to get to in a moment. All this is about the trials and tribulations. That sometimes it's not the individual that's going up against you. It's the unseen forces that have the individual bonded. That they found a spiritual opening to use them, to use that vessel, that body to come up against you. That's why you're supposed to tie, bind, and rebuke them in Jesus Christ's name. Say, God bless you, I love you. So your spirit will let you know when somebody has an unclean spirit in them or something demonic. So instead of hurting the person that's being bonded or spiritually possessed, you cast the demon out and you help that person. You know, there's things that I've learned throughout my trials and tribulations. I've learned these things. Sometimes it's not the individual that's responsible. Sometimes they're being used because of a spiritual opening. But through law here in the United States, yeah, it's always an individual responsible. How many people have you heard when they say that the devil made me do it? The reason they say that the devil made me do it because they don't remember what they did. By the time they come to, it's too late.
There we go.
Neva's angel. She said she wished Beatrice was with her to take care of the brujas and lesbians were attacking her. What do you mean, Deborah? She said it was a joke. So you can share some more stories, cousin. This is about things in that nature. You know, what is the things that you learn from your trials and tribulations?
Well, what I learned, cousin, and it was my dad's final lesson was
Because in a moment,
patience.
well, I'm going to take a little break, cousin, and so you can go on with the show.
Yeah, so
Because it's,
what I've learned was
go ahead.
patience
Hmm.
and toleration, man. Because you know me, and when I say this, I don't mean to offend anybody, but when I was a younger man, I was a bit racist, and you know that. Uh, Also, I was a bigot. Well, I guess a racist would be a bigot, but I had no. no toleration for gay people, and it was because of my dad, the way my dad was, man, that people would walk up and just
I'll be right
talk crap.
back, cuz. Go ahead.
They would just talk crap to his face, and he would just sit there and smile. And I could never for the life of me understand why he could just sit there and smile. But the final lesson I learned it is because it's so easy to hurt someone that it's not even worth the time of getting angry because you're gonna hit him a couple of times and then you're gonna keep all the anger in you because you won't be able to let it all out. So yeah, that was the final lesson that my dad uh, finally got to show me because I was always very high toned and even just the look was enough for me to if I perceived the look as a threat or disrespect, that was enough for me to just beat the crap out of somebody. So yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn. That was a very hard lesson to learn. I mean, I beat up like two or three of my dad's friends for talking crap. Questions, anyone that I may be able to answer?
I'll be right back, cousin. Go ahead.
All
Go
right,
ahead
man.
and continue to take over the show for a little bit.
All righty, man. I'm gonna try my best. Right now, I'm asking if anybody's got questions.
Okay.
No questions? Let me see. No, Ivy, my dad been dead about 4 years now. I have a stepmom, but both of my parents have passed. My biological parents have passed, but I was fortunate enough to still have my stepmom. You see, my father, all he was able to teach me was violence and auto mechanics. Ivy, the the last time I dreamt my dad was about 2 days after he passed away, and it started off as a nice dream. Then the next you know, he attacked me and was trying to kill me, and it became one of those night terror dreams. I couldn't move, I couldn't wake up. Finally, I managed to turn sideways and open my eyes, and when I opened my eyes, there was a green orb floating in front of my face, and it went into the sheetrock and up into the wall, and I saw it go through the ceiling, and then when it went through the roof, I heard something running off the roof laughing. But yeah, I don't. That's the last time I dreamt my father. Yes, my father had dementia and he had Alzheimer's. He found religion, but half the time he didn't even know who he was. Yeah, like I said, my dad was in that Palo Mayumbe cult, and he ripped his soul into two pieces. That's why when he ripped his soul into pieces in that ceremony, he started for forgetting who he was because that part of the soul that he ripped would not come back to him anymore. Yes, my father, elastic machinery. They would not come to him anymore, but he would use that part of his soul to go and do the works that they were asked of him. It's okay, Liz. We come by ourselves, we go by ourselves. Yes, he hung himself, man, but I managed to go and get somebody to cut him down. He was already doing the dead man shake, just squirming. His tongue was hanging out, his eyes were up, face was all purple. I'll never forget that. I was 4 years old and I still remember that. Oh wow, that's heavy there, Texas. No, Ivy, he never got to apologize to any of us because he was in a nursing home and then COVID hit and they wouldn't let nobody into the nursing homes to visit. Uh, one of the nurses called and we asked to talk to my dad and she showed us he was already white. He had already been dead for hours. Yes, he survived the hanging. Yes, I was 4 years old. What's up, Monsoon? ¿Qué pasó, vato loco? No, Deborah, our family is not like that. He raised us the way my grandfather raised him, so we never got a pat on the back and I love you, son, a kiss, an attaboy, nothing like that. All we got were ass whoopings. That was about it. No, he never said that either. Our family, we don't say that. Those are words that we don't say. I can say I love you, but I grew up also without my real mom, so the concept escapes me. Oh, nada, Monsoon, just talking about stuff I've been through, man. Yes, elastic machinery. Yes. Yeah, you never let nobody touch you, exuberance. And if they touch you, you touch them back immediately. That way, whatever they put on you will go right back to the sender. Yeah, 'cause she had bad thoughts to do something to you, exuberance. You never let nobody touch you, and if they do, you touch them right back. That way, it goes right back to them. Just like you never accept any food from anybody you don't know because you don't know what spices they use. Most people that have crossed veins, they can't be attacked by voodoo or santeria from the outside of the body because the crossed veins prevents that. But if they can get you to eat, then they can get you internally. Oh, see, Monsoon. Oh, see. A lot of old scabs, man. But hey, the the cicatrices, they all tell a story, man. Some people think scars are sexy, man. I'm one of those people. Yeah, my father was let me tell you a story, Liz. My stepbrother invited one of his friends over, and that's back in the if you remember, that's back in the days of the swamp coolers. You know what a swamp cooler is, right? Well, my bed was right under the swamp cooler. Well, this idiot brought his friend over to spend the night, but he wanted him to sleep in my bed. And I said, "Oh hell no, man! That's your friend. You let him sleep in your bed." Well, my dad got wind of it, man, and he thought I wasn't being very hospitable. So he proceeded to put me in a corner and do boxing combinations on me, uppercuts, chops to the ribs, all that. And he's sleeping in your bed. I said, "Hell no!" And so he would quit hitting me. I sat down and wouldn't get back up. So I had really long hair back then. He grabbed me from my hair like a yo-yo, picking me up and down. Right. Finally, I managed to push him and run out of the house. So I started doing the ninja thing and was hiding in an alley. And the next thing you know, the Gran Torino station wagon pulled up on my right side, and I took off running, and he was trying to run me over with the station wagon. That's that's the kind of thing like that. And I jumped over a fence and came out to the front yard. I heard the station wagon go and park, and we proceeded to do a foot chase, which he couldn't catch me. He couldn't catch me. I was laughing at him running backwards. So what this old man did was fake a heart attack. I went and touched him with my foot. Ya te agarré, cabrón. Oh my God. He dragged me through the whole barrio by my ear all the way to the house. All the vatos down the street. No, que no, Carvajal, que I thought you were bad. I'm like, shut up, man. But yeah. But hey, at the end of all that, the beating and everything else, I slept in my bed. I got my point across. Ah, Smurfy. Well, I can believe that Texas learned me because I'm one of the people that believe that a sword is a sword no matter on what plane of existence it is, because even angels use swords. So yeah, I believe that. But yeah, that's a story right there, Liz. Yeah, I proved my point and slept in my bed anyway. I slept a little warm, but I proved my point. Oh wow, that's heavy elastic machinery. Yeah, I can laugh about it now, Liz, but not very much fun to a 14-year-old when that happens to you. But hey, at least that wasn't my brother. He made a hole in the sheetrock and my dad stuck his face through that same hole. Any other questions? We try, Ivy. We try. I haven't been on as long as Primo, but I'm learning and trying to do better each day. I've learned not to cuss so much in the lives. At one time they banned me for 2 weeks on Facebook. Yeah, that's another cicatriz I just cut out, monsoon. Yeah, I violated their the rules. Well, I'm trying, elastic machinery. I'm trying, man. I try every day to stop cussing because back in my younger days, almost every other word out of my mouth was a curse. No, Smurfy, he went to drop off the chalupas. Wow. You know what I say is instead of cussing, runner, instead of cussing, I say San Antonio, Texas. That's what I say when I cuss now. You know, man, it's like uh, check this out, Smurfy. You seen you remember seeing that movie Airplane? The scene where that chick is freaking out and there's a son. I mean, there's a line of people slapping her around. I'm sorry, Al. I'm sorry. Yes, Masoon. That's why they're called curse words. No, it's about the one where the pilots get food poisoning and that dude that's always tripping out flying the plane and don't know how to fly the plane.
What's your number?
But
You won it three in a row, dude.
I was 5 years old and my father was working on a car. He had it up on a jack, and I was in there inside the car. Yes, Navias, I would do drugs so that I wouldn't be alone with my thoughts. Took me a while to figure it out. But back to the story. I was in the car, and then my older sister came in and she moved the gear shifter. Well, the car went back and it landed on my dad, who was under the car. She took off running. My dad's brothers and my grandfather came out and picked the car up off him. And since I was the one in the car, they assumed I did it. Well, let's see. Let me see how it went. They called my uncle who lived on the other side of town to come over. And the next thing you know, my grandfather's whooping my ass. He's done. My grandma comes in and whoops my ass. When she's done, my uncle comes in and whoops my ass. Then his wife comes in and whoops my ass also. At the end, I got like 10 ass whoopings, and the last one I got was from my dad. And all that, and I had nothing to do with the car falling on me. It was my sister. But it was like that line in the movie Airplane where everybody's taking turns whipping that lady's ass. What chick? It was an accident, exuberance. She didn't know that the car didn't have anything on the back tires, so she put it in. reverse, and the car just rolled off the jack because they thought that I'm the one that tried to kill my dad, but it wasn't. It was my sister. Oh no, Monsoon! You know what I did to her? Oh no, she got it worse than that, Monsoon. And I didn't whoop her ass. I pushed her out of a moving car. Next thing she knew, she was sitting on in the middle of Main Street. So questions? Yeah, Monsoon. My mom made a right hand turn, and she wound up in the middle of the street. Oh yeah, even Stevens. I got an ass whooping, but she got thrown out of a moving car. Not bad for a little 4 year old. I got my revenge. Yeah, most of the stories I got like that, man, are all about my dad whooping my ass, man. I was a bad kid, man. I've been baptized going on almost 2 years, Deborah. Uh, the way I tell everybody that will listen, I've done just about everything I can do in life on my own. Now I need spiritual guidance to take me the rest of the way. Yeah, just like you, Deborah, I found him later in life. Like I said, my pastor when I started meeting my pastor, I didn't know him, and he showed up at my mother's house. He's exercising the demon. Yeah, when he came to the house for the first time, I had never met him, and I asked him in Spanish, "¿Qué necesita?" Because he was knocking on the door, and he didn't answer me. So I asked him again in Spanish, "¿Qué necesita?" And he just looked at me. So I asked him in English, "May I help you? What do you need?" When he didn't answer me again, I guess something in my facial expression changed. I started walking to the door, and he jumped off the porch and was saying, "No, it's me, it's the pastor." I said, "Oh, okay." He was about to get a holy ass whooping. Yeah, Liz, my mom died in 2010. Hey Vash, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Cousin Abe is experiencing technical difficulties. Well, Monsoon, our families didn't raise any weak kids, man. We had to be we had to be tough no matter what because the way we were, we always knew we had an ass whooping coming. So we did what we did to the fullest and just accepted the consequences after. Yes, Navia. I'm from '68, so I turned 56 in June, and I feel all that age because I had a real wild life, man. I lived it to the fullest. Welcome in, Bash. Welcome in. I'm just sitting here sharing childhood trauma, my brother. Yeah, when I was a young man, I lived la vida loca, and then when I became a young adult, I was living la vida coca. But you know, that's all in the past, man. I hear Primo coming. I hear him coming.
Yeah,
There he is.
I didn't win. My ex won the jackpot, man. He won the jackpot again. He's won it three times in a row. I was right there on the couch listening to your story while I was playing.
Yeah, well, I was just sharing some childhood trauma, cousin.
Yeah, he's won that those minus three in a row. I think that's a record, no, Xavier?
Yep, yep, yep.
He-
That's a record.
No, he's
Yes,
won like
Bash, it does build
three in a row.
character. Um, I'll say it again. It's the choices that we make, that we live and die on, and it's what we go through that makes us the people that we are today.
I'm at I got 50 in there right now.
What's up, man?
50 something.
Is
He's
that
like,
X?
Yeah, what's up?
¿Qué pascuis, X? ¿Cómo
Yeah,
estás, vato loco?
chilling, chilling. I hit it
Órale.
3 times in a row, man.
Hey,
jackpot.
vato, you talking to me, you're eventually going to learn some Espanol.
I lost 20 bucks today.
Sorry about that, guys. Was Yeah, don't put it back in it, man. You know how they do.
Well, Texas, that's when you say, I was dumb very many moons ago. You can say that
Got monsoon here, the Aurora.
uh, you could say that it was a wolf's age ago, and when they say a wolf's age ago, ooh, hace mucho.
Say go eat something real good. Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like eating something good.
Yeah, elastic machinery. Me and cousin Abe and most of our family, we don't look our age, man, because we have a lot of Native American blood. That's why we don't look like we're in our 50s, man. I had one chick told me I look 45, and I said, where? Where? Yeah, it's just that I grow my goatee because my face is crooked. Elastic machinery, and my face is crooked because I was again doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. I was jumping off the porch, and my grandmother was watering her plants. Well, I didn't see that she watered the barandal that went across like that. So I jumped up to the jump down, and I slipped, and I landed in a rose bush that had an estaca, and it stuck in here, and my feet were hanging off the ground, and she just stood there watering her plants while I was sitting there bleeding. Like I said, my grandparents and my family didn't raise no sissy kids, man. So I managed to move my weight around, and it broke. and I pulled it out, and I didn't get a there, son. I gotta go do it again, pendejo. All right,
Yeah,
cousin, you're back.
yeah. I'm listening to your stories. I was listening to what you're saying. When I was sitting down, the mini speak's gonna go up, and I got 10. It's the 2290
Well,
goes 2300. But I'm just looking at the comments. Keep on
Navia's
sharing
angel.
your testimonies, man.
There's a that last name is Carabajal, and I don't have an extra A. It's just Carvajal.
Like the boxer. What was the boxer from
Michael Carvajal.
Michael Carbajal? That's the last name.
No, I don't think Abe ever did that. But yeah, he is addicted to that game cocaine. The those little jackpots, man. He's addicted to that, man.
I play this games here. It's called Kraken. Literally called Kraken.
Hey man, don't be saying cracking. You're gonna invite that fool that likes to do drugs, man. The one that has the little sword.
Yeah, I know. I'm like what's his name? Clinton. I took a puff, but I did not inhale.
uh, I took a snort, but I spit it out.
Yeah, I really never did anything like that. I couldn't, especially when I was in the army for 10 years, because they do random urinal, to check you for doing any kind of drugs. So they always picked me to do those because they knew I was always clean. So certain people wouldn't do them. They would only pick a certain amount of people within the company. So they already knew that I was clean, so they would always get me to do them. You know, but yeah, I've never been around any of that stuff. I mean, I knew people that would do that, but I would stay away from that. Because being a tanker, being in the front lines, you have to be really focused on the job. You can have any distractions, so drugs or having a alcoholic problem, or anything that would be a distraction in which it could cost me my life in a combat environment. So I had to be focused 100%, pay attention to detail. That's why I never did nothing like that. And it's still with me after all these years. There's some veterans that go in that route afterwards. Me, I choose not to. I rather work out, do something active for myself. That's why I do the spiritual encrypted encounters. Keeps me preoccupied.
Hey, cousin. And here's another Mississippi story, cousin. Okay, I've been clean and sober for a long time now, man. Okay, so the first time I went to Mississippi in 2018, the guy, the head janitor, he did he did cocaine. Okay, and when we first got there, he threw a party and everybody was getting high. And he said, "Get high now because once we start working, nobody's gonna be allowed to get high. We're gonna do random drug tests, blah blah blah, right?" So the guys that were housemates with me and my ex son-in-law, they wanted some drugs, man. So they knew where to get them, so that my son-in-law wouldn't go with him by himself. I said, "Let's all go." So we loaded up in the Tahoe and we went to look for these drugs, but we couldn't
Hmm.
find them, man. And we wound up at that head janitor's house, and they were fiending. Well, it turns out what these douchebags told this guy was that me and my son-in-law were looking for drugs, and we were the ones that wanted to get high. So the next day at work, he's like, "Hey, man, we don't do drugs here while we're working, and you need to take a drug test." I go, "You know what, man? Let me stop you right there, my brother. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is the first and last time I'm gonna tell you. I know you're the boss, but this is the first time and last time I'm gonna tell you. We can go do a drug test right now, and I guarantee you, I'll come out cleaner than you because I don't do drugs, man. I don't smoke weed. I don't do cocaine. I don't do no drugs, man. The only thing I do is Coca-Cola or water. That's all I do, man. Cause I don't even smoke. Well, hey, man, remember I got sick when I got there, primo. I think it was COVID because I couldn't stop coughing the whole time I was there. I had a cold, man. I couldn't stop coughing. It got to the point, man, that when I would cough, my legs would shake and I would wind up on the floor. So I went to him one day because I needed some antibiotics, man. So I went and I told him, hey, man, you remember when we first met that you told me if I needed some drugs I could come to you? Dude, his fucking jaw just dropped and he started shaking his head. He goes, I'm very disappointed. I go, why? He goes, you told me you didn't do drugs. I go, I don't do drugs. You just asked me for drugs. I go, nah, man. I need antibiotics. I need some cough syrup. I need some lozenges, man. I'm dying over here. He started laughing. He goes, man, you had me, man. I thought you had lied to me. I go, nah, man. I don't do drugs.
Murphy and the Pinta they checked the other side for drugs. Uh, Devorah said, I know someone who was getting high in the field in Afghanistan. Let's see.
Well,
Wow, Sabretooth runs around trying to swing a sword. Mansoor says, Jesse, how did you get into martial arts? Hazla otra
uh,
vez. Yellow. Are you a black belt? Yes, sorry, I'm
monsoon,
too many A's.
monsoon. I got into martial arts, man. My dad was an amateur boxer. He was a wrestler in Mexico. He wore a mask, but he was also a brown belt in Go-Ryu karate, man. And that's the only man I ever saw that I ever knew personally that could break cinder blocks with his fists. And like I said, my dad taught me two things. He taught me violence and he taught me auto mechanics, man. So yeah, my daddy trained me in martial arts, and no, I've never had a belt, but I don't need one. Belts are only used to hold up your pants. But in '97, after all, when I was still training every day, in '97, I reached Bruce Lee status, man. I beat up 7 guys in a bar fight by myself. So yeah, I think if if I were a black belt, I think that would qualify me as a black belt. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, you just share some stories, cousin. I've already told these people how many times I used to get my ass whooped every day. How did that movie go? All my life, I wanted to be a gangster.
So we're talking about spiritual tests, trials, and tribulations, making a path through the obstacles. You're
my path, my path has been like this, primo, swimming like a fish.
good fellas.
What, like a clown? Am I a clown? That's my favorite line in that movie, man, with Joe Pesci.
That's what he says. Am I a clown?
That dude told him, "You're funny." He goes, "Funny what? Funny like a clown?" Am I here to amuse you? Then he shoots him in the foot. Well, I wasn't a victim of marketing, Smurfy, because I never had a belt. I just had the knowledge. Got my first pair of nunchucks at the age of 5. Hey, primo, I used to take them with me to school and beat up the little black kids.
It says obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the goal. Now I've seen
You're right, man.
obstacles. There's obstacles in life. Especially when I was growing up in a town full of brujas and they
Oh
were
yeah.
gunning for me. Like I was telling to y'all yesterday in the couple of days we were talking about brujas, and one of the obstacles as a kid is that I had to pass was not to take anything from anybody offering me something, right? Because normally it was a bruja trying to give me a maldad through whether it was a fruit or a candy or a drink. I was ordered not to take anything from anybody. Like I said, they would walk. There could be like 50 children in line, and they're carrying an object in their hand, and they pass everybody, and they stop right in front of me, trying to be all friendly, trying to give me an apple, a banana, a candy, or something, right? But I would never take it because it was a maldad in it. They were trying to do something to me, witchcraft. So I would never take it. I knew my spirit knew not to take it. What was trying to give me, because the way I seen it is all these kids they could have given to anybody else, but they come and choose me to give it to me. It's because they had bad intent. Now, if they had apples for everybody and they give it to everybody else, then it's something different. But I could see the woman over there by the fence in the distance, like what 150 yards, looking, and most of the time she had her face covered with like a veil like this, and she'd come real slow past everybody and try to give me this object, but I would never take it because I knew that she was trying to do something bad. She would get mad. That lady would get mad because I wouldn't take the object off of her. So that's one of the obstacles that I had to overcome as a child, knowing that there's evil people in this world with bad
That makes
intent.
no difference to me, Monsoon.
Lester Machiner says, yeah, there's always bumps in the road, but I'm saying me, I had to learn since I was a kid that there's just like there's good people. I'm supposed to walk this earth with a love foundation. There's evil people with bad intent, and I was one of those type of kids. Somebody tells me a story, I believing in them because it's somebody telling me something. But now that I'm an adult, it's like you got to be careful what you're believing in it because somebody could be having bad intent towards you. He said, "Hey, I'm Black Jesse."
Yeah, I told him I don't have an issue with that. I can be friends with everybody, and yes, Smurfy, you can tell who's who, especially like if somebody's about to get in a fight and there's one dude all hyped up going back and forth, and the dude he's trying to fight is just sitting there watching him. Who do you think's gonna win? The calm guy, because he's just waiting for him to make the mistake and make him pay.
Yep. I would never say nothing when I face my opponents. They're always saying what they represented and jumping around, cussing and flexing, and I'm just studying them, man. I ain't have to say nothing. I let them waste their energy. That's what all they're doing is when they're doing all that is wasting their energy. Just how to handle business. No, I have family. My sister was married to a brother. A brother. Have my nephews and nieces are black. I got nephews and nieces that are Korean. So no, I don't discriminate, man. I've been through battles against other races when I was in the military a long time ago, but I don't discriminate. Sometimes you just have to stand up. It's not about discrimination when somebody's coming at you saying that they're gonna whoop your ass. You just got to defend yourself as a man. When you got no choice to defend yourself, you got to do what you got to do to survive. Yeah,
Yes,
I,
my friend.
I knew this guy the last guy I fought. I would see him measure over 600 pounds at the gym. He was like 6'9", big dude, weighed like almost 300 pounds. But I let him get. He was, I think he might have been taking steroids because he was always getting mad. So he was getting mad because every punch he threw, he couldn't connect, and I would slap him in the back of his head. He was getting even more mad, so he threw a lot of power punches. He wasted his energy. When I seen that chest rise and fall, that was it. And I let him take a shot. Gave him a free shot. He met when he swung with everything he had. I hit him in the elbow, spun his whole body around. When you practice with immovable objects, and I hit him in the vein one time, he was out, man. I felt bad because the reason I feel bad is because, but this is a guy that told me he was going to break me in half and he leave me paralyzed. The reason I feel bad is because this guy started having problems afterwards. After that fight, he was never the same. Uh, he was an older guy. He was like up there in age, like in his 40s. I was only 19. There's a pressure point I hit him at, and he started having all kinds of physical problems, man. Heart attacks, strokes after that the blow to the head. But what was it supposed to do? I mean, this guy said he was gonna when he grabbed me, he was gonna break me in half. Break and leave me paralyzed. But I had no choice but to defend myself and do what I had to do. And I'm more than sure I wasn't the first one he's hurt. I believe he had hurt other people. But I just feel bad, man. It's within our nature, right, to feel bad afterwards because we're supposed to have a love foundation. No, the only thing I could do is pray for the guy.
There's a question about your love foundation right here. Cousin Elastic Machinery wants to know: is it fair to say that our love foundation is solely built from the words and works of Jesus Christ?
Yes, the foundation is within us. It's actually within us. Sometimes that's why when I was talking about the spiritual test, trials, and tribulations. Sometimes things happen in our life through detours away from our path, from the love foundation. And it's like it takes later on as we're growing spiritually, we don't want to feel like with a black heart. We don't want to feel like we're sinking in quicksand or we're drowning with negativity because we just have anger, hatred, and vengeance. And it's not a good feeling. When the good feeling is when you have love, when you have that love foundation and you know that the Heavenly Father is there. You can pray for him and he assists you spiritually. But when he blesses you with a spiritual gift of discernment to be able to fight spiritually against the unseen, now that right there, man, it's an awesome feeling knowing that he's blessing you with his gifts because he loves us, right? So what are we supposed to do when we're being shown all this? Maintain our love foundation, uh, out of respect, right, for what is being we're being blessed with, and that's why I talk about a love foundation. The past is the past. I can do nothing about the past. The only thing I can do is ask God for forgiveness. But sometimes when you're placed in situations, you got to do what you got to do in order to protect the vessel, in order to survive the trials and tribulations or the obstacles that come your way. In which, in actuality, I shouldn't feel guilty if somebody's saying they're going to break my back and they're going to paralyze me, but then I have to defend myself to protect the vessel. If I don't defend myself to protect the vessel, then I wouldn't be able to be doing the works right now, sharing the things with y'all spiritually right now. That meant that I would have not protected the vessel, and if something would have happened to me, I wouldn't be here. But I'm here for a reason. But it's important when it comes down to the reason it's very important to maintain the love foundation is because that means that you have no hatred, no anger, no vengeance, and you're forgiven. Forgiveness is part of love. So when you forgive, you can cut generational curses, and there's no spiritual openings that the unseen, the demons, Lucifer can use to come up against you because you've washed your accusers in peace and you're maintaining the love foundation. And the Heavenly Father blesses you with the spiritual gifts of discernment to be able to overcome any more trials and tribulations that come your way through Jesus Christ.
What I did that helped me a lot, man, is I let my ego quit talking for me because it was my ego that was getting me in trouble, man. Thinking I was bigger and better than anybody else, man. I quit listening to that, and I've been fine for for 20 years I've been fine, man.
It was the blood, man. It'd be boiling real quick, you know. But that's when you've been through things, it's you got the it's called tough love, right? You got the love foundation, but then you got tough love that is dealing with the past. When somebody treats you through physical abuse and they teach you that way, you think it's love, but it's not really love. It's they call it tough love, but it's really tarnishing your path. Like, but everything happens for a reason, right? Sometimes some of that tough love that I went through got me through some of the fights that I went through. They gave me the no surrender, overcome the enemy, don't give up, but as I'm older, I know that there's a different way to handle a situation like that. Is through talking to one another. Maybe there's just an understanding that people, or something spiritual. You could say, hey, man, how about we talk, and you talk to somebody, and then you can come out with a prayer and pray together as brothers and sisters in Christ, or brothers in Christ, and you gain respect that way. Now, I try to extend a couple of olive branches here to the people that were targeting me, but they chose not to. They chose to continue to come at me in a negative way. So me, I just move on forward. I extended olive branches to some people, and they chose not to. So I just move on forward. Yeah, yeah. I know a little bit of German. Ein Seles Weissen, bitte, guten Morgen. That was my first duty station, was Germany. So I just needed to know the numbers. Einzel Weissen, bitte. Eins, the numbers. Eins, zwei, drei, uh, uh, fünf, vier, six, seven, acht, nine, zen. I mean, one beer, I just need to learn eins.
Heinz Morgan, so you were drinking Morgan beer?
As Einzel Weissen, bitte.
Oh, okay.
Guten Morgen means good morning.
Oh, okay, okay.
Helles Weissen is a beer, so I said Eins Helles Weissen, bitte. A Helles Weissen is like a light beer. If I wanted a dark beer, I'll say Eins Guinness bitte, which is a dark beer that looks like motor oil.
Oh, wow.
So, that's all I need to know, the basics. Now, whatever else everybody was saying, I think at one time I was feeling so good that I went up to this female that was talking smack about me, that I understood what she was saying, and that I didn't even understand the language. I said, "Why are you talking about me?" I was like, and the guys were looking at me, and it was like, "How do you know we're talking about you?" I said, "Because I know." I said, "But there's no way you should know." I said, "Yeah." Well, they apologized, but they were talking about me. You know, the spirit knows. See, I saw you do it in real time, Abe. This is why I'm here. For me, it's paranormal, cryptid encounters, and PRT. But when I want to do really rest, I know I can put on the show and not worry about the message. Oh, when I went through those trials and tribulations in Elms Grove, man, that was like I got tested to the fullest. At that time, me and cousin Jesse wouldn't talk. We had no really, everybody's doing their own thing. But I got targeted. And one thing about me is if I was getting targeted and it was meant for me, I wasn't going to danger anybody else in my family, my son or anybody else. And I put myself in place because my son was being targeted, right? So I put myself in front of that as a shield. So if something had to come my way, it has to go through me. And that's what made me grow even stronger spiritually. It's what I went through at Elms Grove. But I knew one thing, and this is the opening that a lot of people have, and I'm telling you, it's like we tie bind and rebuke any negative energies that are around at this time. Welcome to interfere in what I'm saying right now. I didn't know I had unforgiveness in my heart. When you go through the trials and tribulations, a lot of unforgiveness that I forgot about. When you're angry and you say things and you forget because it happened so long time ago. Certain individuals that I had to forgive, that they came at me in a negative way, that I had forgotten. These people, they wasn't even alive no more. There's people that were dead already. That's the opening that these unseen forces were using. That's why I tell y'all that unforgiveness is very important because it's part of love. When I forgave all the things that were happening, I was getting spiritually targeted from all directions. You name it, anything you can think of. Uh, Dark shadow spirits, skinwalker shapeshifters, demonic entities, this dear woman. I was seeing all kinds of things because they would just come at me in numbers. When I forgave all those openings, that all the things, because I was being spiritually targeted, that were coming after me, stop. Because when I forgave that individual, his soul went somewhere else. The only know I knew it was that individual is because I recognized the laugh of the dark shadow spirit that went into the tree, up the tree, and it was his laugh. So I called my aunt and I asked him about that guy, if he was still alive. And she said, no, he's been dead for about 4 years.
Wow.
And I didn't even know. So I forgave him. So that soul could go wherever it was going to go to. I know he wasn't going to be able to torment me anymore after that. When I forgave that guy, I forgave him, and all this openings that this, I mean, they wanted me dead. Just put it that way. Uh, they stopped. They made one more final attempt. The day after I forgave, uh, they showed their selves to me, took me somewhere else spiritually, and they showed me this location in hell where there was lava, fire. There was this torture chambers, like cages with spikes, and people were being tortured, all kinds of gadgets. Uh, the way that this things look, they kind of, you could say, they look native in some kind of way. They said they all have names, and they asked me if I want to know their names. I didn't say nothing to them. They would show me the things in spirit. Uh, Next thing you know, I'm back in my room, and they tell me that they want me to do something. Here's what they tell me. They told me, we won't harm any of your ch- your family members, your son or nobody, but you got to do one thing for us. And I didn't say nothing. But this is what they said. All you got to do is take your life. Basically, they wanted me to commit suicide, kill myself. Then I looked at them and I said, this is in my room, and I'm seeing them in my room. I said, first of all, my son and my family are protected because I pray for them. I pray to Jesus Christ, and they're being protected by the Heavenly Father. And second of all, because I had already forgave, I had gotten blessed with the spiritual gift of discernment. I said, I take authority over you. I tie bind and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Leave me alone. Boom! They went out the wall real fast. So ever since that day, I overcame what I went through in Elms Grove. But I'm blessed in a bigger way because I'm able to see things that normal people cannot see through the spiritual gifts of discernment. I'm just sharing my testimony with y'all. That's why I wanted to make this one called Spiritual Tests and Tribulations. It's a really powerful act of love and obedience that involves choosing to release the friend from the debt that they owe you. Thank you, Neville's Angel. I know they're going through their own trials and tribulations right now. Uh, through, but that's sometimes what happens. They're trusting people, and then you see with the spiritual gift discernment, you could see right through the characteristic of somebody, and I have that ability that I can tell when somebody is not on the right path or there's something faulty. It's a spiritual gift, but we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. There is always forgiveness that people can move on in a positive way through forgiveness. But that hatred and anger is not good. I know I've been out of character a couple of times when I was being targeted, especially when people make death threats. They talk about they have a licensed weapon, they got a weapon, and all this kind of stuff. Like basically trying to as a scare tactic. But to me, that don't work. All I say to those individuals is like, if you're gonna pull it out, make sure you use it, because if you don't use it and see that as a threat, I got to do what I got to do, even with the Love Foundation. Runner said he forgets why, especially what you put him through. I can actually socialize with her and her husband, but not forgiving. You're giving them power. Forgiveness takes back that power. Yeah, you got to forgive. When you forgive, the hatred is gone and all the things are gone. You may not forget what happened, but the Heavenly Father is going to bless you by forgiving, because forgiveness is part of love. When Jesus Christ was on the cross and he said, Father, please don't forsake them. They don't know what they do. That's what he said. Please do not forsake them. They don't know what they do. What does that mean? That means that everybody that was there around them, in some kind of way, shape, or form, was being demonized. That means they had no control of what they were doing because they were being demonized. He sent her back to South Korea. What the hell?
I know I was laughing internally over
I
that, man.
mean, I mean, what do you expect, Smurfy? That's $5 deal, man. You want to go cheap? $5 make you holla. That's what happens, bro.
$5 too buku
You already know
money.
it wasn't about love. Yeah, it's within the deliverance prayer, the Our Father. You're trying to get that Happy Meal for $5, and it cost you. You thought you were getting a good deal. Oh man. So what do you think about that, cousin?
I think he should have not gotten a Happy Meal. He should he should have gotten McDouble.
His purpose said she tried to use me for my green card. Instead, she got a plane ticket. It still cost you, brother. That's what happened. Yes, he forgot the Romans who were nailing him. Well, he's God, toughest to ever walk the earth. Yes. Sure, runner. You probably were the first one in that aid station every Monday morning after the weekend. Yeah, get that hammer.
The
The
hammer
Q-tip.
time.
He was getting probed.
Oh, that's messed up, man. Not the probe. Oh Lord.
I'm saying, he's getting burned over there. He's getting probed. That's what I was in the military. A lot of dudes will be in line because they go out there and wouldn't wear protection to get burnt.
Okay. Okay. Did she give you one of these? It's not a gun, man. Es una rascadita de
But
culo.
before you swim, you gotta put on the wetsuit. He said it would show that crap, bro. Yeah, when you're in the military, they show all these films when you get to a duty station of all the different kind of diseases there is. It's like, what I have to show is this, because basically it's crazy to show you like all the different diseases there is.
Your testes and you.
I thought I seen a picture of a old boy in there. You hear all kinds of stories. I think the worst one from Korea is a black gonorrhea or something like that.
Oh, the gonorrhea has colors?
It's called black gonorrhea. It's the worst of the
Oh,
worst.
shit.
It comes from Korea. Where the dudes literally have to lose their privates.
Wow.
Infects everything.
That's crazy, man.
Luckily, I never got stationed in Korea. But sometimes they put those videos just to scare you. But things like do exist. How many more days for old boy? Is it 2 or 3?
Deuce.
Yeah, they'll show us some crazy videos. He said, I saw things in Korea that will make most people sick to their stomachs. Bad.
You would, Rich Runner. You've been places, brother.
See some things over there.
You were living that country song.
Viviendo la vida loca over there.
In all the wrong places.
In all the wrong places. Yeah, it's like he said, I saw things in Korea that will make most people sick. I don't know, Runner. I heard that there was a midget in Korea. Is that true? Runner? A midget Korean woman? He says, think about the soldier that was going to run a sword through him. When I left Daniel, iron doors open. Daniel loved to tell him he was still there. The soldier was a Roman centurion. A soldier like you were. Don't you check out the Annalise Michael exorcism audio, the German girl who was possessed and the priest freed her from the demons, but she died after one of the priests went to jail. It's crazy stuff. Yes, I've seen her story. I'm just thinking that of what I witnessed of the priesthood, that there's many faults there. The reason that this this demon's going to be casted out of her is because there were just men of the cloth that really didn't have faith in Jesus Christ, that they only was doing it for a job. You know, to my understanding, there's a lot of Roman Catholics that are priests that they consider being a priest a 9 to 5 job. So when you're doing it, when you take a something dealing with Jesus Christ, right, dealing with faith, that is just a 9 to 5 job, and you're doing those works without faith, well, you're not going to have the outcome of something positive, that you're going to be able to cast the demon out if you're doing that without faith. And I believe that that's the case there. So basically, the demon is staying there, and then you just staying there. It's bringing more demons because is the priest is a man of no faith, because they
That
consider it a job, 9 to 5 job.
that and Jesus Christ said, man, in the Bible that there are some demons that can only be cast out with meditation and fasting.
Fasting, yes. It's kind of like the woman that I ran into, that she was talk. I heard her talking to, like, she was talking to a lot of people, and I seen her talking to nobody around her, but she was talking to, like, if there were 7 things around her. So as I was also going to tie about and rebuke her, and the things that were around her in Jesus Christ's name, she took off running. She ran out to the parking lot, across the main road onto the other side of the road. And when I go outside, the way she's looking at me, you could tell she's demonized, and she's laughing, and she turns around and runs into the woods. But it was the demons that took her, or else I would have been able to help her and cast them out of her. But they have full control over her. It was like 7 demons. I don't know whatever happened to the girl, but the demons knew that I could. They knew of my abilities to be able to cast them out, so they took her running. You know, like, had full control of her. Ran away from me. So I don't know whatever happened to the girl. I never ran to her again, but I know that I was fixing to rebuke them. The spirit knows the spirit, so the demons knew that I was fixing to rebuke them. So instead of them getting rebuked out of her, they took the vessel. They ran with her across the main highway. Cars were passing and everything, and they took up running with her. They were laughing at me. So I was going to go across the highway to go to the other side, but they took up running with her into the woods. Like, they have full control of her, of this girl. She was like a young female, like 23, 22. Yeah. When you hear about suicides, people jumping in front of cars, people jumping off of bridges, I don't think it's really the people doing that out of their own will. I believe that they're being demonized, and that's just the demons eliminating the vessel to collect the souls of those individuals. So if you know somebody that committed suicide, the only thing you can do is pray for them. Pray for them, because they probably don't remember what they did, because they had no control. Something entered them. They had a spiritual opening. Uh, they got spiritually attacked. Um, there was this lady that would go to her house at nighttime, a Puerto Rican lady in Elms Grove, to ask my sister for cigarettes. My sister told her she didn't have any, and she said she was going to cut through the woods. And I said, okay, well, and my sister said, like, well, if you do get a pack, just bring me a cigarette. She said, okay. She said, okay. So she cut through the woods through a different way than the path we normally travel. And next thing you know, you just hear like brakes and like, you know, brakes, and somebody got like something, it's an accident. You can hear the sirens and everything. We went to go check it out, and you can see sirens everywhere, and the ambulance and the fire truck. The truck driver said that that the woman came running out of the woods and literally jumped in front of his vehicle. So something had to happen to her that I don't believe it was her that ran and just jumped in the in front of her, in front of the 16 wheeler. I believe that she was being controlled by something, demonized, and made her do that because we had just finished talking to her, and she passed away by getting hit by a 16 wheeler. The
Welcome to
truck
the
driver was
demonic hour.
the truck driver was all dramatized, and so I don't know. And he was saying that she looked like she was scared or something, like she was running away from something.
Demonic hour, cousin. It's the demonic hour.
The demonic hour. Yeah, it's like I've seen people like that. They were being demonized through brujeria. There was this lady that my mom would always talk with her because she was always watering her plants in the afternoons. You know. Then one the times we walked there, we was always looking for her because she was watering the plants in the afternoons when the sun was setting. But we couldn't find her anymore. So my mom went over there and knocked on the door to see how she was doing because she hadn't seen her watering her plants anymore. And they said that she was real sick. We went in the room, and you could literally tell that she was being possessed. She was possessed. The way she was acting. Uh, my mom was praying for her, and you could see that she was being possessed. We didn't know what was going on with her. Uh, I went outside to where her plants were. I was going to try to water her plants, and I heard something right underneath her where her room is, where she they had her in a certain room. I heard something underneath, and I could see dirt flying around, dirt. So I'm there, and I'm seeing all this dirt flying around from underneath the house, and I don't know what's causing that. You know, dirt is just flying, and then a hole starts forming. You know, like something is digging, and I'm just freaking out. You know, so I'm seeing something digging, and flirt is flying. Next thing you know, this big white owl comes from underneath, out of underneath the room, and flies away. That day that happened, she died.
Wow.
I believe it was a form of brujeria. Somebody had placed something on her that happened to her, that she was being demonized. But I remember that day. Uh, what do you think about that? Cuz
That's
it was a
crazy, man.
Reinas. The Reinas lived right there in the corner from Don Benjamin, the little store down our street.
Uh-huh.
It was they're the mother.
That's
That's what I
crazy, man.
witnessed.
That's
Witchcraft,
crazy.
brujeria. You know how I tell you sometimes if somebody's doing something evil, it can go back 7 times fold. So I think the white owl, because white owl normally is represents something good, no, primo?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what
Anything
happened.
white, anything white is pure and good. Anything black is always negative and evil.
I was always running into things like that when some of my friends would get an unclean spirit in them in school. When I was in pre-K, we were playing on a swing set, uh, during lunch, and I seen this shadow figure come from the wall, out of the wall of the one of the rooms, and then enter my friend. My friend started acting different, like the spirit of perversion, where we're just little kids, and he starts grabbing himself real crazy and stuff like that. So I look at him because I know that I seen something go in him, and I look at him and I tell him I love you, because of a love foundation. I tell him I love you, and the unclean spirit leaves his body, and my friend becomes normal. But something had entered him, and I had to say I love you with true love, right? As brothers and sisters in Christ, to get rid of the dark spirit that entered his body, and my friend became better. I've seen human shaped shadows in shadows of a room multiple times over my life, multiple locations. I feel them before I see them. Yes, they always through spiritual law. They always identify to show themselves, so we know what we're dealing with. They identify themselves, whether it's a dark shadow spirit, whether it's a shapeshifter skinwalker, a wendigo, a bruja, a brujo, a banshee, la llorona, and elementals, and many things that's dealing with the balance. They identify themselves to you, and sometimes they come in numbers. So that's when you really have to go into prayer. That's why you haven't seen me gone and investigate in a while, because it was getting pretty hectic out there. That I had to take a break from doing my investigations. They were trying to ambush me. In Jesus' name, yes.
Amen.
Yeah, I know I'm going a little bit deep on y'all, man, but this is things that I've witnessed all my life. That's I have many other stories that I haven't even said to y'all of the balance, of who makes me who I am. So I've faced many wicked people all throughout my life. That their intent towards me was not good. Their intent towards me was death, but I'm still here. I fought spiritually. I'm here, but they're not. Their intent was death, and I'm into my love foundation. That's why it's important to maintain your love foundation, because whatever they're trying to do is going to go back to them seven times fold. You got to leave it up to our Lord and Savior to decide what the punishment will be for them coming up against His children. So all we have to do is maintain the love foundation. It'll protect us. I'm telling you. Can't give in to the enemy anymore. That's what I said from now on. Anybody comes in a negative way in here, we're not
We just
letting them do anything here. We're just booting them out from now
we just
on.
escort them to the door.
Was that cousin?
We'll just escort them to the door.
Yes. No. I'm still recuperating from a year ago. My left toe. I still trying to fix it. My toenail. It was getting bad, man. They were targeting me big time out there, and then it's like, you know what? I don't need to be doing this anymore. I think I've gotten enough evidence to prove that through my show reels, and that what I've captured right there. You can see what's within the pictures. That I don't have to go out there and be ambushed by like 30 or 40 of them. But even like that, with the Love Foundation, I was able to overcome them with the Love Foundation, even though they were there in numbers. They get even more mad, so they come with more and more and more. But when you truly have Jesus Christ and you place Him first with the Love Foundation, you can overcome anything through Jesus Christ. But it's got to be done through Jesus Christ.
Elastic machinery. 2 days elastic machinery. 2 days.
2 days. It's at 22.98, cuz I'm thinking I'm gonna jump on it. So you
Well,
gotta
I'm about to get out,
you about
man.
you about to bounce, cuz
Yeah, man. We've been on 3 hours, brother.
3 hours.
Yes, sir.
You got any other stories you would like to share? Is there your thoughts about the moon have something to do about witch and warlocks, cousin?
Uh, right now, man, I'm fighting to stay awake because
Oh, okay.
I almost dropped the phone out of my hands.
Well, I think it has to
I'm
do
old, man.
with like a lot of energies. You know, gives them power or think they have power, but this is the times that they do the deeds that they do is around this time frame, late at night, coming
The witch,
against
the
doing the
demonic.
molest people. Is late at night around this time frame.
Well, cousin, I will see you tomorrow. People of spiritual and cryptic encounter. Have a good morning. May the Lord bless y'all and keep y'all safe.
Your cousin
Bye,
just needs his
Deborah.
beauty sleep.
Yeah, and the way I look, I need a lot of sleep. We'll
Man.
catch you on the flip side. Good night.
All right, cousin. Yeah, cousin just is getting old. He couldn't hang with us no more. Nah, I'm just playing. He's been tired. He got up early in the morning to go to church. I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's show. I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed the topic for tonight. I know I stepped a little bit out to the side. I let Jesse do his thing, uh, speaking what he went through in his life, and I'm more than sure that a lot of these viewers that are here or the members of Spiritual Crypto Encounters that y'all been through a lot of things in your life. They make y'all who you are. Thank you very much. When you get old already, it's like you want to share what you've been through with somebody, the things that you've been through your life, because you know that it can help somebody that might have gone through something that they're too afraid to talk about it because they might be embarrassed or whatever the case, right? Because that's what negative seeds do. But it's always good to let it out, not hold it within you, forgive, to be able to move on forward in a positive way. No problem. In saying that, brothers and sisters, I don't want to keep y'all. Tomorrow we'll have another good show. Uh, Thank y'all for those that tune in. God bless every single one of y'all and your families. And like always maintain the love foundation, no matter what the situation is. And if you have to, tie, bind, and rebuke through Jesus Christ. Oh, there hasn't been no trolls. Let me see what time it is. Yeah. So, in saying that, thank you all for those that tuned in. God bless you all and your families. Just remember that you are somebody. We're all unique. We're all equal. Uh, that you're somebody special. That you do have a love foundation. And if you don't think nobody cares about you, well, God, Jesus Christ loves you. All Everybody here in Spiritual and Cryptid Encounters loves you. You have many people that love you. You never stand alone in the spiritual battle. If you're going through something, uh, never be too be never be scared to share. what you're going through, because that's what we're here for, to help out one another's brothers and sisters through Jesus Christ.
2298.
Saying that, thank you, Brother Roy, for tuning in. If you whoever wants to watch the replay, y'all can check it out. Saying that, God bless you all, and good night, brothers and sisters. Peace out.